All right, so we have with us today Brandon Tucker, Washtenaw Community College's Vice President and Chief Workforce and Community Development Officer. And last week, I believe it was, I got an email from the PR lady there that said you guys have cut a deal with Amazon. So we're kind of curious to know what's that all about, Brandon.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be on the show once again. It's always a pleasure to be here virtually. Amazon has been looking across the country at their workforce and trying to determine how they can best support their development. And so while they've always offered tuition reimbursement, in the last few years, they've upped the ante into the billions of setting aside dollars to support their hundreds of thousands of workers across the country. So there was a competitive process and screening that you go through as they look to try to find new partners. And Washtenaw was fortunate to, pass the test and went through their rigorous process of becoming one of their most recent educational partners. What does that mean? That means that anybody who is an employee of Amazon, specifically in the southeastern Michigan region and across the state, but it's open to anybody across the country, can take classes and enroll in programs. At WCC, we have 137 programs, 45 of which are completely online. But some of those employees may want to take an in-person class, so they have a choice of in-person or online. Any of our offerings for free, up to $5,250, which is the IRS tax limit per year. That includes tuition, fees, books, supplies, equipment, whatever they may need to be successful in their academic pursuits. They are eligible to take with us. And we're really excited. We know that there are some 12,000 employees in southeastern Michigan across their 3 facilities, thousands of more across the state. And we're excited that as of literally today, first day of class, that they're able to take classes at Washtenaw.
So is this an entirely free benefit to Amazon employees then? Is it full-time, part-time, hourly, salaried? I mean, what are the rules there?
It can be full-time or part-time. The caveat is that it is hourly and non-management. So any of their non-management employees are eligible for the program. Management is not eligible.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So largely would these be like warehouse jobs, or would they be delivery driver jobs? Or exactly what would they be?
They could be either or, right? They have individuals working in their fulfillment centers, doing logistics and supply chain. They have, of course, drivers. They have, of course, package handlers. Anything you can think of that makes a facility run, with the exception of their management team, are eligible employees.
So tell us a little bit about WCC. I know you said that they offer over 130 associate degrees and certificates. What are some of the offerings there? Does it run the gamut, or what would you like to highlight?
It runs the gamut, Matt. I mean, anything you can think of from our degree credit transfer. So a number of our students, a large majority, transfer to a 4-year school. So individuals through Amazon could come and basically have a leg up or some advancement and save some dollars as it relates to their 4-year education. But then also specialized fields, whether it's health, whether it's our autonomous and connected mobility space that we have been in for the last 8 years. If it's business, supply chain, or if it's somebody who wants to transfer, the options are really unlimited for them. But we try each year in partnership with the industry to identify one of those emerging trends and emerging occupations, making sure that our offerings are relevant, but also the modality in which they're offered. So while we have 137 plus programs, 45 are online. We continue to grow that number because we know more and more people are interested in taking either a portion or all of their courses online or in a hybrid format.
Yeah, I was one of those people that went to when it was called Grand Rapids Junior College back when we rode dinosaurs. It's now community college, but I worked my way through college by working full time in an auto plant for 3 years and then going to school part time and then transferred down to the University of Michigan where I completed my bachelor's degree. Is that kind of the intent here then, or is it open ended where because a lot of times, and Matt's not going to want to hear this because he works with a 4-year college, that a lot of people just don't need a 4-year degree anymore. They maybe a year or 2 years, and they get some sort of specialized trade school kind of training. Is this kind of all of that, or what?
Yeah, yeah, and we're seeing that even more. You saw GM recently say, "Hey, we don't need 4-year degrees," and we know that Ford is investigating that as they speak. Not saying that all roles don't require it. There's some that do, but there that is really, I think, industry's reckoning today, saying, "Hey, it's not about the degree, but it's about the requisite set of skills. How are these students able to come out and be able to hit the ground running day one?" And that's what we try to do at the college. That's why, out of 137 programs, probably around 90 of those are certificates. So a large majority of our offers are certificates because students want to get in and be able to get out. Employers want to get the talent they need quickly, but then also those are all stackable, right? So there's no dead ends to the certificates. They stack upon the associate's degree and eventual transfer for people that want to go to a 4-year.
Well, and actually, Mike, a lot of universities are moving more toward stackable certifications and shorter duration programs, including Lawrence Tech. We recently merged with the Specs Howard School of Media Arts, and that's a 1-year program, and we're offering that. So there's a lot of that going around in traditional 4-year colleges.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it, in part, is due to the cost of college these days. When I went to the U of M, believe it or not, my tuition was only less than $500 a semester. Now that's about $500 a credit. I think it's probably more than $500 a credit. So, I mean, I just watched some stuff this morning on the news reports. Biden is getting the forgiveness for some of that loan money. That could be also driving part of it. If my son is now he's got a doctor's degree in physical therapy, but he's also got 6-figure debt to pay off. And boy, that's a real backbreaker, right?
It is. And, while we tell everybody, you have to identify a school that fits you and the career path you want to go into, but all roads can start at a community college. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that there is a value in community colleges. You think about spending $500 a semester, we're a little more than that now, but not much, right? So, a person can graduate with an associate's degree anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000. When you compare that to a 4-year school, that's even when I was in school 20 years ago, I was paying that in a semester for a 4-year, not for a full degree.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
go ahead, Matt.
No, that's all right. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, so how long did it take for you guys to qualify with this? You said you had to apply for it and then they had to vet you and all that stuff. What, pretty slow process, long process, fast, what?
We reached out about a year ago.
Oh, boy, it did take a while then. Yeah.
And then once we kind of got in the hopper for potential, was to top of 2022, around February. And then was approved officially about 30 days ago.
Ah, okay.
You have to go through a process. Of course, they do their own due diligence related to our student success scores, and then some other national reports that's out there. And then they made a decision, which we're very excited that they made that decision.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of the things Google was looking for in you. I mean, what is it about you that they wanted to make sure that you offered to participate in this program?
One thing was looking at our online offerings, right? So they wanted to have institutions that did good in on-ground classes, but other institutions offerings were online, and they wanted to make sure that we had a good mix of both. Two was proximity to their locations. So within a 35, 40-minute drive, you can reach about 3 different facilities that employ over 12,000 people. So for those employees that do want an on-ground experience, they can get to our campus pretty easily. And then third, looking at kind of national recognition. How do we compare as relates to others around student success? We consistently win awards around our online and some of our innovative programs. When you think about cybersecurity, which is one of the fields that Amazon employs, we're a national center for cybersecurity excellence. So when we start looking at some of those national centers of excellence and designations, I believe that put us ahead of the pack.
All right. And so is Amazon, I know they have tremendous turnover in their warehouses. I don't know about the delivery drivers, but I'm hearing 150% turnover every year. Do you think part of that is they're just trying to build more allegiance with that workforce so they stick with them or something? Is that part of the motivation?
I think they are. One thing that they made very clear with us is that they want to show their employees that they care and that they are there to develop them. So I think this could be one way to show that, pretty soon, because, you're eligible, I think, after only a few months of work, right? So it's not like you have to wait a year or two to be eligible.
Oh.
All right. So when it comes to Amazon employees, did you do any kind of analysis on how many you're expecting, or is the door just wide open?
The door is wide open because while we would suspect that we're going to get some traction from those centers, those locations near us, we're on their national registry. So with us, and there's only 3 providers across the country that have a number of large-scale online programs. We're talking about like University of Phoenix. We're talking about Governor State, those types of outfits. And we're now one of those that can be seen nationally when they go to search for where they might want to go to school. So we're waiting patiently. Hopefully the doors doesn't swing too fast, but we're ready. We're ready to accept Amazon employees today.